All right, we are going to talk about checking accounts today. You should have already read Chapter 4, Checking Accounts, in your textbook. We'll start with Section 1, Understanding and Using Checking Accounts. So on a check, the payor, P-A-Y-O-R, is the person or business issuing the check, and the payee is the person or business named on the check that it's going to receive the money. So if I owe you $20 and I write you a check for $20, I'm the payor and you are the payee. We are going to look at filling out a check. You need to pay Dave Ramsey $135.23 for your ticket to an NFL football game. So let's say it's today, January 24th, 2019. So you put the date up here. Pay to the order of. I'm paying Dave Ramsey. Try and be as legible as possible. We are paying him $135.23. Now, when you write this on a check, you want to write your numbers as close to this dollar sign as possible. The reason you want to do that is so that someone can't modify your check. If you leave a whole bunch of space in front here, someone could add another digit and possibly get more money than you've intended. The same goes for down here on this next line. This is where we write it out in words. Okay, so we write it out in words. We want to start writing as far to the left as possible. So we are going to write, pay attention to this, 135 and 23 pennies. So notice here that the and is used as a decimal point, represents a decimal point. There is also no need to write dollars. Why? Because it's already there. So if you look right here, dollars. The memo line where it says for, you could write any note. I always try to write something here just as a helpful reminder. I'm going to write NFL ticket. And the signature line, sign my name. Down here, this bottom left number is your routing number. And then this number is your account number. Up here, this 2670 is your check number. And in the top left is your name, address, sometimes phone number. Sometimes companies will ask you to add a phone number. So in the case of a discrepancy between the numerical and the written amount, so numerical and written, the bank pays the written amount. So they always go to the written amount. So as I mentioned before, you can deter thieves by writing the dollar sign or dollar amount as close to the first digit as possible, and by writing the words starting as far left as possible. And when I say dollar amount, I mean the numbers. If you're signing a check on behalf of an entity, there's something you should be aware of. So now we're talking about signing checks, like down here, right up here. So let's say you're in charge of the Glee Club, you're the treasurer, and you're writing a check to someone. Say Dave Ramsey's going to come and speak for you. Be sure to note what capacity you are signing in. For example, I would write, so I'd sign Diane Harris, and then I'd put Treasurer Glee Club. So on there, I mean, you might have to write it small or write it underneath, but you want to make sure you do that, because otherwise you could be held liable. That means you could be held accountable for this amount that you wrote. Even though you were writing it on behalf of the Glee Club, because it's just your name there, someone could hold you liable. So just to be careful, you always want to write your title and what the organization is on the check. Next, I want to look at endorsements. So when you get a check, you need to endorse it. And there's a couple different ways that you can endorse it. One is the blank endorsement. So let's see, a blank endorsement. So you would just sign your name. Some banks require you to write your account number too. So you might write, you know, your account number there. The other way is a restrictive endorsement, where you write for deposit only. That means the only thing that someone can do with this check is deposit it. And then your name, and then if your bank requires it, your account number. If you do a full endorsement, it means you are only giving this check over to one person, specifically. So let's say we're going to do a full endorsement to Judy Scott. So I'm going to write pay to the order of Judy Scott. This means I'm giving Judy Scott the check that was written to me. I am signing it over to her so that she can cash it. Again, write my name and my account number if needed. Now, in our new digital world, there is another way, and my bank does this. So say I get a check, I go to the app on my phone and I click on the account I want it to go in, and I click on deposit checks, and what it has me do is first I take a picture of the front of the check, flip the check over, and then I'm going to just draw it down here so you guys can add this endorsement too. My bank has me sign it. They don't have me put my checking account number on it. And then they have me write for mobile deposit only. Then I take a picture of it. In addition, on the back, some of my checks have check here after mobile deposit. And then some even have another line on here. I'm just going to draw that here, where you can write the date that you submitted it on your mobile app.